How is everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good. I'll be honest, I don't really feel like doing this live stream today. I don't really feel like sharing this story, but I'm going to put my selfish feelings aside and help people. I've had a really good day today. I hope all of you have had a good day. If it's the first time you come on my YouTube channel, my name's Jonathan O'Halloran, and I've been coaching people now for it's almost 12 years, but in that time there has been some breaks. And most of the area that I've specialized in over the years, even though my teaching and coaching has changed now to what it was when I first started, but it's mainly been in the area of anxiety, confidence, positivity, and kind of living a positive life. But today I'm here to share my story, not my successes, but my story with overcoming a mental health breakdown, which is probably the biggest success that I've had in my life. But do you understand what I mean? I'm not here to talk about success in some of the successes that I achieved when I was younger, even though there might be a point where that's relevant. And I did make a promise when I was in hospital, when I was really struggling, and I was praying to God, I was praying to Jesus, and I did say, if God could help me get through this, because I didn't think I could get through it on my own. I wasn't strong enough. It was so challenging. It was a really tough time at that time. If you can get me through this, and I made a promise that I would share my story. I wouldn't be selfish, and I would, I would sacrifice the criticism or whatever came my way to help other people. Obviously, I can't promise that I'm going to help everyone in the world. I would if I could. Obviously, I'm only one person, but I know that I'm going to help enough people. And that was the promise, and it felt good. So I've continued to do that, and I want to do it more. For some reason, I find it difficult doing it on the live stream because I'm not with people in person, and it feels a bit robotic, a bit disconnected. And I really do enjoy being around people in person, speaking to them and hearing their story, where on the stream it does make you feel a bit selfish. It certainly does me, because I'm doing all the talking and I can't hear what everyone else is saying. Obviously you can comment in the chat, but I do appreciate it though. I do appreciate a live stream is better than nothing, and it could save someone's life today. It could definitely do that. I'm not taking credit for it, but this is, these are things that I learned on my journey. And I was going to say earlier on, I understand it's human nature. People's knee-jerk reaction when they hear something like this is they think negative. That's not my perspective anymore. So what I mean is, I remember I did a free event. It was, I think it was about a year ago. Lovely guys. I did these events regularly. I've stopped them for a while because I've got a lot of clients now. By the way, please leave your questions. I don't mind if you, I knew this was going to happen. There we go. I don't mind if people come on and interrupt the conversation, because I'm also here to do what I love, and that's to help people, men and women, who suffer with an anxiety disorder or anxiety, confidence issues, to help them to move forward and live their dreams. So please don't feel apprehensive about interrupting me. Worst case scenario, I'll say, hang on a minute, and then I'll try and answer your question. So, my perspective now is such a positive one, obviously, because I've come out of the bad experience. And I could easily say now it was other than my family, the love for my family and friends and my faith. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. My life is so much better because I had the mental health breakdown in so many different ways. My relationships are better. I'm a better person. I've learned a lot from my mistakes. I've learned so much. I'm a different person in that sense. And just to lighten the subject a bit, I would never eat avocado before. I just would think, oh, it's horrible. So my whole diet changed after the breakdown. Everything changed for the better. So anybody that's going through really bad anxiety or feelings of suicide or horrible depression, or currently, if you're in a mental hospital right now, listen, I'm no different to you. You can come back stronger, better, happier, more grateful than ever. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, but you can do it, and there is a lot of help. I couldn't do it on my own, and there is a lot of help out there. So I just wanted to say that. But listen, you know, I've been on the receiving end of struggling, looking for answers, and people do their best. You know, they only just do what they can do. And sometimes you hear these stories and you think, oh, another story, it's cliche. Person struggled, you know, they prayed to God, God sorted all their problems out, and now they're successful. I can understand people feeling like I felt like that. You're only human. But I can only be honest with you and tell you my testimony, my account, and what happened, and the things that I've learned and I've continued to share, which has been a lot of positive things. Let's just make sure this chat is working. So, if you've got any questions. So, okay. So I'll start off with the first word that I learned, because this happened in 2017, and I'm still processing it now and getting the benefits. So the first word I learned from being in hospital and having a breakdown and losing everything was gratitude. I didn't really know what that word meant before. I heard it floated around here and there. I heard Tony Robbins say it. I heard all these motivation, really good people say it. And obviously, growing up, my mum and dad and my nan and my aunties, good values like, you know, be grateful. And I was thankful. But I didn't really understand how to truly live with gratitude and experience it. I was a bit blocked because of, you know, my anxieties, my trauma, my selfishness, you know, human nature, you know, my mind being on different things. And I just didn't really understand what that meant, you know, because life is difficult. And I had a period of my life where it went really well. Honeymoon period when I was successful, you could say externally, but internally I wasn't successful. I later realized that now from the way that I feel now internally. So I didn't really understand what gratitude meant. And that was probably because I'd never gone through that type of adversity. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. And this is what it was like, if I can describe it. It was basically like dying, but not dying, and being alive and coming back to life. That's what the mental health breakdown felt like. It was excruciatingly painful in periods, mentally and emotionally. I was in emotional agony. My head was hurting. My teeth used to ache. My jaw. My whole body was tense. It was anxiety to a degree that I've never experienced. So it was trauma, pain, you know, severe torment and intrusive thoughts that were torturing me on a day-to-day basis. So I was really, really unwell. So being so unwell, part of you don't really know what's going on, and that kind of helps you get through it because you're kind of in shock. You're not really yourself. You're not fully conscious. You're not, you know, other people can see that you're not well, who are mentally well, but you're kind of, you know that you're not right, but part of you is not quite sure what's going on. So there's a lot of confusion that causes pain. So on an emotional level, yeah, very painful. Psychologically very painful, very frightening, very lonely, very distressing, and it feels like you're dying, but you're still alive and you're being tortured. That was how it felt in periods. But things start to get better once I accepted, because at first I resisted. I didn't want to be in hospital. I tried to escape on the first day. I tried to run out, and the security chased me down, and they stopped me from getting out. So basically, you know, I'm basically in prison, right? So it was a psychiatric hospital and I wasn't allowed to leave. So however you look at it, even though they said I wasn't under a full section, but because I agreed to go in because I weren't very well, parents, you know, they did the right thing, but I wasn't in agreement at the time with my parents, with my mum and dad, because they were so worried about me. I was like thinking, everyone's against me. So I was paranoid, you know, that's the hard part about having a mental health breakdown, at least for me at the start, is that you're paranoid and you don't trust anyone. And that's really frightening. And I'm sure at some time point, everyone who's had anxiety has felt like that. But this was at a level which was not normal. My trust issues were just through the roof. So resisting makes it worse. But after being so terrified, which surprised me because I thought I was a very strong man before I had the breakdown, and obviously in certain ways I was very brave. I wasn't as strong as I thought I was, and it absolutely shattered me and humbled me and brought me to a place of you could say completely being vulnerable, being weak. I had no defense. There's nothing that I could do. You know, being aggressive wasn't gonna it weren't gonna overpower the mental illness, and trying to be tough didn't work. So I really just had to just give in and get the help. And when I gave in and got the help, I started to feel better. So the first way that I begin to accept the situation was by saying, okay, I can't change it. They're not going to let me out. I've tried to escape. They won't. Initially, I said, I'm not taking the medication because I don't trust the medication. All right, Timmy. So I wouldn't take medication. To be fair, they didn't force me with a medication. They were good like that because I was paranoid that they were going to force medication on me, and I was really, really frightened of taking medication. But I sat, and then I thought, you know, the only person I could turn to, thank God, was God. Now, my parents were great, but at that time, I was paranoid. I didn't trust them. And that was part of the illness, and that wasn't actually true. So I didn't want to deal with anyone, really. It was weird because a person I thought about a lot was my nan, obviously, who I always trusted, and I was kind of wishing my nan was around because she would have, she just was great. So then I thought, my fear, funny enough, at the time, I even was like having doubts of faith. I wasn't sure if I believed in God. I was so frightened and doubtful, but the terror of the reality hitting me and feeling, even though this weren't true, but I actually said to myself, because they put me in there's quite a little cell, and there was no TV. Why did you delete the message, Timmy? There's nothing wrong with it, mate. Don't be nervous. Don't mind you having a joke. You've got a good sense of humor. Don't mind anyone having a joke. So when I was in the little cell, I just thought I have to get the Bible quick. I need to quickly pray. I need to beg God. I need to beg Jesus to help me. I can't handle this. I've actually thought my life is over. I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life. I was absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified. I actually thought that I'm never going to be released. Like, I'm always going to be sick. And what was even more frightening at the time, I actually thought, part of me thought, I'm sane. These people are going to lock me up, believing that I'm unwell when I'm really well. But the truth is, I was unwell, and they were right. They were right. But I was battling with myself. So I walked out of the cell and went to reception. Was nervous. I was shaking. I was so anxious. And I said to the gentleman on the desk, I said, please, I said, have you got a copy of the Bible? And the way I asked was, I was fearing that they were going to say no, because I was thinking, I've got no hope then. I've got nothing to turn to. And they said, yeah, we've got a copy. And they gave me a copy, and I just felt relief. And I didn't read the Bible much. I was a Christian growing up, believed in Jesus, always prayed a lot in my, to myself, never really announced my faith, but lost my faith throughout the sort of years. I think success, people might not agree, but this is my opinion, too much ego, becoming arrogant, losing gratitude, and getting too caught up in being famous and being young and all those things, and taking things for granted, and also being a good person as well, and believing too much of the hype, combination of all those things, and struggling with success, fame, mental health, life, all the things that come at you, pressure. So when I got this Bible, the St. James's Bible, thank God it was a simplified version. And I can't remember the specific parts I read, but I just went to the parts of fear. I wanted comfort. I wanted God to take this agonizing, terrifying fear away from me. I wanted hope, and it worked. It gave me comfort, just holding the Bible, just holding it on my chest. Then I opened it and then I started to read. And I think reading the Bible made me focus on, I can't find the right words now, but it made me focus not on my intrusive thoughts, because I was hearing voices. Obviously we all have a voice in our head, right? That's normal. That's sane. Everyone's got an ego voice. It's talking right now. Your voice would be commenting, and it would be criticizing me, what I'm saying, how I look. It will be criticizing you. You might be thinking about your bills. That's normal human mind patterns. But I was having abnormal, intrusive, horrible, confusing thoughts, which were mostly attacking me. So when I started reading it, it gave me strength, and I had it was an ongoing experience, and I thought, man, this is real, because I doubted God for a while in my own personal thing and Jesus, and I thought, I can feel this is helping me. And I felt, again, because I'm talking from memory, I just felt it wasn't like a voice, but I felt an impression, right? I'm going to be brave and say, I think it was God. I don't know 100%. I want to be honest about that. But something told me that everything was going to be okay. But I had to surrender. I had to give up fighting, and I had to trust. I had to trust in God, and I had to trust the professional people and kind of do what they say if I wanted to recover and come out of this. That's the impression I got, and that made me relax more, because it was hard for them to relax me in hospital. I was an absolute nervous wreck, like nothing you've ever seen before, unless you've been in a mental hospital or you've had someone or you've been through it. It was like I was, extremely intense. So I start reading the words on hope, on strength, on faith, on all the sort of common sense sort of wisdom, but I felt it, and that's what I felt. That's the instruction that I felt that the Bible gave me. That's what I felt in my own, desperation for hope. Something told me in an impression. It wasn't a voice like something came down. It was an impression. It was a feeling that was strong that said, it's going to be all right, but you have to surrender. Because I wasn't surrendering. I was fighting. I was fighting my mind. I was fighting. I didn't want to be in hospital. I was humbled. You've got to remember, I was a successful coach. I had money. I had a little bit of fame. I had a girlfriend. People loved me. Some people didn't like me. I was always coaching other people. And I'd gone from that, having a great life, to being smashed down and couldn't even, like a child, had no confidence, couldn't look people in the eye, couldn't look my mum and dad in the eye, was frightened to death like a child, 34-year-old man who was like an 8-year-old. I was that scared, that vulnerable, really vulnerable. So that was the impression I got from reading the Bible and really praying with real desperation. And it was genuine, it wasn't fake praying. Like, please God, make me rich, or please God, make me happy. It was like, please God. And I'm lonely as well. I feel like I'm on my own. I can't relate to anyone. There weren't that many people I could feel that I could relate to. I had to sort of remember mentors or someone that had gone through a spiritual awakening or had been through something that I'd been through, to not feel judged and to feel that they can understand me. And very deep stuff. My mind went all places. So obviously there was still a lot more work to be done, because I was in hospital for 6 weeks, and that might not sound like a lot, but it's a lifetime when you're going through intense anxiety. But after a week, I was so happy, man. I was so grateful to feel better. I still wasn't well, but I got a bit more comfortable there because I was worried. I was worried that something was going to happen to me in there, that they might try and take advantage of me. They might try and do something to me, which didn't happen. And truth be known, most of the people in there were really nice to me, the staff, the doctors, and I made a friend. I made a couple of friends in there. So I settled in there after a week and really accepted the situation. And it's almost like, how can I say it? I didn't feel ashamed anymore. That was the least of my problems. What, being ashamed, worrying about what people would think, that was like nothing. I was grateful that I felt more relaxed. Like that was like no amount of money in the world, no amount of money in the world can buy peace when you're absolutely terrified and you're mentally unwell and you're being challenged. So gratitude found me. I found gratitude. I was grateful to be calmer. I was grateful that I could eat every day. My mum's got a heart of gold, and my dad, I didn't ask him because I ran out of money when I weren't well. I was so unwell. I was just spending large amounts of money and I didn't save money that I made, which is down to me. A good friend of mine transferred £250 in my account. I was so happy. I didn't even ask him. That's what good people do. So I could use that money because although I was in hospital, I could go out for a few hours, but I had to come back. If I didn't come back, obviously, then there'll be they'll put an order out and come and get me and section me on a stronger section. So it was good that I could go out for a few hours and buy a takeaway or buy some food, go for a walk. So that helped. My mum gave me a few quid, and then I could order some Chinese in hospital because I had to be back at a certain time. So these things were things that I appreciated that I wouldn't have appreciated before. Of course not, because how my life was, kind of living a life of I lived a life of luxury, which I don't apologize for, and I worked hard for it. But obviously, there's a moral to this story. So each day got a little bit easier despite my mental health challenges. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go on the medication because they didn't force it down on me. And faith sort of, that I felt like that was right for me, right? So the medication was kind of great for me because it just made me sleep all day. And I kind of liked not having to think and eating a lot. So eating a lot of junk food, sleeping all day, sitting down, just not thinking too much. In many ways, it was fun. I'm going to be honest, because I didn't have to worry about the stresses of life, about money, rent, relationships, and running a business and dealing with the pressure of just the daily pressures that we all deal with. So there was a part of me thinking, this is kind of fun. Like, it's like being a kid again, just not having any responsibilities. So I went through that stage. Then I started to get better. We went out, lovely people, a nice lady who was unwell in hospital. She was a bit more weller than me. So she took me for some food and had a chat with me, and that made me feel better. That's what good people do. So she helped me, having that bit of friendship. And I got talking, made some friends in there. There was a guy in there about my age, and we started to we became friends. We laughed a lot. So, I made friends in there. And that helped me so much, and to be a friend to other people. So I had a good laugh in there. Some good times in there, believe it or not, despite the difficult times. And that's what happens when you've got no choice. You're forced to. I was surprised. What human beings can do when their back's really up against the wall. And I was surprised that initially I was surprised how weak I was as a man, right? Getting past whatever that means in terms of, I'm a man, I'm tough, I shouldn't be this, I should be strong all the time. I was surprised how weak I was, like a child. But later on, I was generally humbled and surprised at how strong I was. Does that make sense? I suppose it's a bit like the quote that St. Paul said in the Bible when he said, when I'm at my most vulnerable, I'm at my most strongest, or another way it's written, when I'm at my most meekest, I'm at my strongest. And I think I know what that means, because when you've got pride, when you've got a lot of ego, which is natural, and it's not judging anyone, everyone's like that. depending on what they've been through. So you're human being. It's not easy being human. When you've got all that stuff, you won't be weak because pride gets in the way of you being vulnerable, depending on who you are, where you're at in your life, right? But when you have a breakdown, you ain't got no choice. You've been stripped. You don't have those protective mechanisms in place about trying to be perfect or trying to project a perfect image to please people and for people to like you. That gets shattered. You can't hide it no more. You're too sick. So when you're so weak, you're able to be strong in weakness as opposed to being weak in strength. It's kind of the reverse to what the ego likes and expects. So, I got stronger through reading, praying every day and sticking with the Bible and getting the help. Obviously I got help. I got therapy. I spoke to psychologists, doctors. That helped me to talk to people. I did like the therapy there with art, going out, communicating with people, going for dinner. So these things all started to build my strength back up. So as the week started to go by, I drove all of the nurses. I drove them mad in a good way. They did like me because I kept asking the same question every day. Every single day I'd say, when do you think you're going to let me out? When do you think you're going to let me out? Because I get out there. I was desperate to get out and get, I just wanted to get out of the hospital. And they kept saying, for God's sake, we keep telling you, we don't know. Like, we're not going to keep you in here forever, but, we've got to wait and review you and see what the doctors think. And so forth. Need some that quiet. So that was amusing. And then I apologized because I didn't want to stress them out because they were nice ladies, nice people. So where was I? This makes me hungry. So yeah, I started to get excited because I could sense that I was getting better. When I was in hospital, I created a vision. I set a goal, and my goal was I'm going to come back and make a full recovery. And when I come back and make a full recovery, I'm going to share my story with. I guess I'm going to share it with the whole world, and I'm going to help inspire men and women, not just necessarily, definitely who suffer with mental health, but just in general, especially with anxiety, to live their dreams. And it's hard to explain. And obviously for me to do that, I got to get myself well. So I had to get myself back to winning ways. That was the right word. I've used that word quite a lot. And winning ways meant I've got to get in shape because I was obese. I put on like 45 pounds more than my natural weight. And I was really overweight from eating the medication. So when I come out of hospital, there was a couple of years of just, binge eating. And I slowly started to get back in shape. And now I've made a full recovery. I'm off medication. I've lost over 40 something pounds and I'm in a better place than I've ever been. I've changed my entire business, my teaching. I'm back paying my taxes again, paying my own rent and running a business. And my life isn't perfect, but it is. I'm living a dream from where I was. So my life is better than it was before because it wasn't going in a good direction. So I've been continuing to share that story and it's been a lot of fun. And that's why I've been putting out the boxing videos on all my platforms, because boxing training was one of the exercises that I used for recovery. And boxing was nostalgic for me because in my 20s, when I've got great memories living with my nan, I did amateur boxing and it gave me a lot of confidence. So when I was in hospital and I weren't well, I had time to assess and analyze my entire life, all the things that I was proud of and all the things that I regretted, that I was ashamed of, mistakes that I'd made, that I thought, right, I'm gonna take responsibility for those things because we all make mistakes, and I'm gonna put things right and learn. And it was just like a whole examination of my life. The things my mum said that I didn't used to listen to, my dad, my nan, my mentors, my own instincts, also things that people have told me about myself that were good, that I found hard to accept because of my low self-esteem and confused psychology, and having a lot of confidence, but also having a lot of issues and all these problems that I had even when I was successful. So simplifying my life again and thinking, how can I make my life better? So fitness came straight to mind. I think that was a godsend in my prayers. So it was like, right, I'm going to get back to the boxing. We're going to get back to the weight training, the old Bruce Lee days, and we're really going to enjoy this with a passion. So it wasn't like, oh, I hate this, I'm just going to go and do boxing to overcome this mental health. It wasn't like that. It was like, I am so grateful. I'm so happy that I'm out of hospital and I've got the opportunity to have a second shot at life again and make it better and be a better person and help people better and more than what I did before. So it was just a totally different outlook on life. And it was more like, a constant thank you, God, and thank you for what my parents, it was a lot of gratitude, really deep stuff. I never would have been like, I was always thankful, but not to that level. And I guess that's what happens when I got humbled. When you've got humbled and you're terrified, you're begging God for your life back, and you're more appreciative of your life than you've ever been before. And you put things into perspective and you really realize what is important in life. So I couldn't wait to start training, and I went on that journey. And the first thing I actually done was swimming. I've spoken about that because that was a big fear of mine. That was another thing that came in my head. Even though before the mental health breakdown, I achieved a lot of success externally with business and making money, and I did help a lot of people, which people are grateful for me too. And I'm really grateful to have had a lovely girlfriend. I'll never forget her, even though we separated. She's such a good person. We had a great time together for the few years we were together. Great memories and a great journey. So my point. What was my point? So I just felt like, I was just grateful to be out of hospital and just have freedom again. That was it. I was so grateful because look, we're only human. I can't blame anyone. You learn. You don't always appreciate freedom until it's taken away from you. So obviously my freedom being taken away from me, both mentally, going from having good mental health. I mean, I was always a little bit crazy growing up, but you know what I mean? Actually getting unwell and then being locked up in a mental hospital in a little cell. I'm not going to exaggerate. I went in the cell all the time. You can come out in the main room, but you had to go there at certain times, sleep. So being let out was a great feeling. And then being able to go to the gym. So I did swimming, and it was a struggle, but because obviously it's taken like 5-6 years, but I got here in the end, and it does feel great. It really does. And there's a lot more work to be done. So I do appreciate everyone listening, and I really don't mind. I don't mind if people judge me. Believe me, it wouldn't affect me. I've been through so much pain. I'm happy even to be judged, to be in a position to be alive, and I'm grateful that it's going to help a lot of people, and it helps me to help more people because it's helped me to get this story out and get better at sharing it. And the more I share it, the better I'll get. I can simplify it more, and hopefully I feel super positive when I'm sharing it because I'm in a good place. So I'm sharing it in a good place now, from a good place, to inspire and help people. And I know that help can mean different things. Sometimes people just need to know that they're not on their own. That's all people need to know sometimes. That's what I needed to know for men and women, that they're not on their own. They're not the only one that is going through anxiety or mental health challenges or whatever they're dealing with, and they can overcome it. They can definitely do that. There's a lot of help out there. And stories of real people help you to do that and help me to do that because I was aware of that in hospital. That was the good thing about achieving a lot of success, even if I feel a lot of it was external and it was quite egotistical, even though a lot of people don't agree with me on that. And I always had a good heart. Well, I know it was deep down at that time because that was where I was at. I had to go through this. It was it gave me some tools to get through the situation in hospital because I did have a choice that what I could have given up. If I wanted to, and I could have justified it and no one would have complained, I could have stayed on benefits, never worked again. I could have stayed on the medication and I could have continued to eat myself to obesity. It was tempting. It was very tempting to take that choice because it was comfortable, it was safe. No one would ever really bother me again. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to stay like that. I didn't want that life. I wanted to come back and make my life great and help a lot of people and have a great time. And that's what's happened. My relationships have been, I can't even put it into words. The connections that I've had with people, and that's because I've broken down and come back. And it makes you much more open, much less caring of what people think, and more, I'm not into fake stuff. I'm not into things that are not meaningful, if that makes sense. Still having a good time. So, yeah, going from being very undisciplined to now living a very disciplined life, I love it. And that's why I've been putting a lot of this. So most of the teaching that's been coming out lately, last few years, I'd say pretty much all of it has come from the mental health experience. I'm grateful. I'm glad that I went for it. I wouldn't want to change it. If I could go back and change the experience, I wouldn't do it, because I wouldn't be the person I am, and I wouldn't have learned the lessons I've learned, and my life wouldn't be the way it is now and going forward. So I really learned about living each day to the full. That's what being in a hospital taught me, because it slowed things down. When I went in hospital, everything was busy, business, making money, helping other people to make money, which is fine. It has its place. YouTube, seminars, business, rushing around. And that was fun for a few years. But after a while, it got depressing. It did get depressing. And, going through these things made me realize that, I was selfish a lot of times, not thinking about my family, just thinking about myself and my business and my ambition. And everyone, I think, goes through that. So being aware of character flaws and selfishness, and I was able to think, right, well, I can change that. I don't have to be selfish to that degree. Obviously, everyone is selfish, that's a fact, but some more than others. So started to make a lot of changes and become a lot more aware and grow up, not just in age, but in maturity and spiritually. So, I believe anyone can come back. It doesn't have to be a mental health breakdown. It could be any challenge, anything, because we all go through losses in life. You can't really escape that. But how you come back, you do have a choice. So, purpose, I've titled on this video. I had to find my purpose again. My purpose was to teach, come back and help people. Write some books, do some public speaking, connect with other sufferers that have recovered, help other people that haven't, have a great time, not take life too serious, appreciate it, and see what happens from there. Also, for me, it really got me back in touch with my faith, which is so important. And I lost touch with it, forgot about it, worshipped money too much and success and validation to an unhealthy degree, because I fell into the trap that most young people do. Again, not a judgment, but this is sharing my story. So, of course, now, still run a business, got to make a living, but I don't, my perspective has changed. It doesn't mean as much to me as it used to. What means a lot is love, family, friends, faith, simple things in life, enjoying the gym, enjoying right now, simple things. I appreciated having a coffee in a coffee shop, in a park, on my own, and with a friend. That's some of the best times in my life, with my mentor, with my friends, and with my clients and family. A coffee and a good heart-to-heart conversation, for me, I could easily say, is the meaning of life. I know the meaning of life can be more. I can say God, love. Yeah, it is. That's part of it. Simple things. The mental hospital taught me that. Where before that, I'd have been like, well, that's boring. I need exciting things. I need to be followers everywhere. Nah, it's not healthy. It's not good. Not in that way. Not in that way. No. So, a whole change of perspective. So anyone can do it if I can do it. I'm not below anyone. I was weak, very weak, scared. What can I say? I can't be any more honest than that. But I didn't give up. And thank God for giving me the strength and good people, because I wanted to give up, believe me, and I thought I would, and I felt like giving up, and I felt like I I couldn't do it. I couldn't cope with the fear and the stress and the depression. But eventually, the depression it changed. It went, and the pain went. My body now is light. You can see it in my face. If you go back, I don't know if some of my old videos are online. Lots of people have seen them. You can see how sick I was. The pain, and you can see it in my face. You see it in people's face. The pain's left my body because I had to go through the agony, the pain, to get to the truth of who I am and the truth of who I'm not, and what my values are and how I want to live my life, and so forth. So that was the story. And then after that, as I said, I thought, right, I'm going to change the way that I live. And I'm going to teach people and help them, if they want me to help them, with how they can live and share the story. Put all the stuff out for free. It's available for everyone for free. So they don't need to have money to get this information from me. I'm giving it for free. Obviously, people that hire me, then NASA paid service, that's different. But all the information, I made a promise and I kept my promise. So I created a thing called a daily discipline or a daily routine. And it was born out of the 2017 mental health breakdown and recovery, which has been the last 6 years. And I can say I've fully recovered now in the last year, maybe a bit longer. And the daily routine is all over my social media. I've already put videos on this channel you can watch and get all the information for free. It's on my Instagram. And I'll tell you it now. I'll share it with you now and go through it. And I do it daily. So it's really simple and it's effective. So in any order you want, you don't have to do it in the exact order, but the main premise is that you do this daily. So the first thing is gratitude. Every morning I wake up, I practice gratitude. Everyone's going to have their own way. You do it your own way. That's none of my business, right? I respect other people's faiths, values. So I pray to God and I listen to music and I'm thankful when I wake up. I fix my bed. I make sure things are clean. That's part of respect, gratitude. So that's the first part. The second part is, and the order changes depending on my schedule, is I go and do a workout. I go and have a workout where I go for a 45-minute run. I do a lot of running. You can see on my social media. On other days, yesterday, I did boxing. So whatever workout, I'll alternate it. But it will be a workout. So gratitude, a bit of fitness, a workout. And then after the workout, shower up. I go to work, right? I go and coach a client. Or if I don't have a client on that day, I will make content. So it's kind of gratitude, exercise, socialize, work on your purpose in life. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like, it's common sense, really. Any healthy, person or any sort of material out there would pretty much kind of represent this. Did that make sense? So, and you stick to this routine where, most days you exercise, you socialize, you eat healthy as you can, you give gratitude, you enjoy your life, and, you focus on your purpose in life. That's going to be different for everyone. So that's it. And that helps you to manage your anxiety and do what I do. Live with anxiety, but live your dreams at the same time. And that's kind of like the best truth we've got at the moment, because everyone in our society is suffering with anxiety, the whole world. But some people are dealing with it better than others. My story is to say to people, I have anxiety just like you do, but I live my dreams every day and I'm doing what I love. Not just in my business with being a teacher, but in every area. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope I've made it clear. And I will keep putting this routine out. And I've written it down on Instagram. Let me just get my phone so people can actually write it down and follow it. I need to explain as well that, everyone's got to adjust the routine according to them, their personality, their lifestyle. Right. If I could just simplify it more, basically it's saying to people, exercise daily, or obviously I'm not saying 7 days a week, but most days, socialize most days. Again, you don't have to socialize every day, but be social, work out, eat healthier, practice being grateful, and focus on your creativity in your career or your business. And you're kind of ticking all the boxes when you do that. You know, you're improving your relationships with everybody, your family, friends, yourself, your partner, if you're looking for a partner. You're working on your mental health through fitness and your diet and your physical health, and you're working on your career. So you're kind of working on every, you know, you've got all the ingredients to live a happy, successful, and fulfilled life. So it's so simple and obvious, but of course, it takes courage to do it. You've got to face your anxieties every day. But what other choice do people have if you don't do that? You're gonna, you know, people are investing their whole life being miserable, not living their dreams. But I do understand it's not easy. Fear's not easy. Anxiety is not easy. So, um, so like I was saying, I wouldn't have made these lifestyle changes. My message wouldn't have changed if I hadn't have gone through the breakdown. So anybody that's going through mental health or a breakdown, it can be a blessing in disguise. It can be your whole life's going to transform. It's not nice. I'm not saying it's nice. No one deserves it. No one deserves to have mental health problems and to suffer. Wouldn't want that on anyone, and I didn't either. But what I'm saying is, you know, you haven't really got a choice if you suffer with it, because that's not your choice. It's a mental disorder. You know, it's a disability in that way, but you can use it and make something of your life, and you can recover. You know, Tyson Fury done it. I've done it. Why can't you do it? Many other people have done it. And there's help out there. You're not on your own. There's loads of professional help out there, and there's people like me that share their stories. So you're not on your own. So yeah, you can follow my Instagram page. It's I've changed the name. I've got my full name. Let me just put it in. So yeah, you know, when you're rock bottom, the only way is back up. That's one of the good things about, you know, having a breakdown, or, you know, being down, or losing a job, or, you know, losing all your money. I'm not saying these things are nice. Initially, they're not nice at all. Nobody wants that. But that's life. These things happen. You can come back from it. There's my Instagram. You can follow me there, and you get all the dieting that I do. It's all there free. All the information's there for anyone who wants to take it and use it. Please do. It makes me happy. I've done this for other people. So purpose now. We're going to talk about purpose. I honestly believe everyone's got a purpose on this earth, or they've got something that they're good at doing and meant to do, which will benefit them and other people. But it's having the courage to live it. So obviously I can't like teach people their purpose, but I can share my story and inspire them and teach them how to face their fears and figure out what their purpose is, right? Because we've all got things that we're good at. And I know that some people don't believe it, but that's not true. I've lived long enough, and I've been coaching for 12 years. So people have. And my purpose was to, which I'm doing now, which is to be a teacher and a speaker, and to help people that have got anxiety to build confidence, discipline, gratitude, and live their purpose or achieve their goals and dreams, whether it's really big ones or small. So that's the story. That's about as much as I can share now. It takes a lot of energy for me sharing this, and I'm sharing it throughout, you know, throughout the videos, and I'm going on a lot of podcast shows. I'm appreciating it and getting better and looking forward. I want to meet people in person and speak to them and connect with them as well, other people that have been through it. It's quite a profound experience, you know. It's a lot of information. There's so many different perspectives that you get, but ultimately I've arrived at a positive one. And like I said, to summarize it, I know people want answers quick. Gratitude. That's what I learned from having a mental health breakdown, losing everything, and regaining health, and, you know, having a job and having everything back. Gratitude, something that I will never forget. couldn't ever forget that. And for me, gratitude wasn't something that I consciously was looking for, even though I probably was, but it just, gratitude found me. All right, yeah, gratitude found me. We found each other, and I believe God. It's got to be God, and who else it would be? Faith, the goodness in people, pain, suffering, all those things. So to be grateful, and gratitude really encompasses everything that's good, really, and it gives you strength, and it makes you a better person. It definitely does. Most people that have been to hell and back, they're kinder after. They're kinder to people, more compassionate. Of course, not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is, but definitely more compassionate, more caring, and it's given me more strength in life that I didn't have before, funny enough. And it's an ongoing thing now. So, yeah, that's a story. Anyone can do it. I'd absolutely love to hear you guys and girls' story, because everyone's got a story. It doesn't have to be, having a mental health breakdown or building a successful business. Everyone's got an interesting story, but people are I get it. I was the same. People are so scared to share their story because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, or they're scared of being judged. But that's, how long is a piece of string? Everybody is got things that they're insecure about, but that's how you get to your greatness or being a better person. You got to share your story, or at some point you got to face your story if you want to change it and improve it. So that's it. That's it for today. That'll be enough. I'm uploading a lot of videos, interviews. I've got so much to do with this vision. I hope a lot of people got a lot out of this. If anything, they got strength to keep pushing through. And I know that people that are, they wouldn't, and I don't want anyone to be, that may not be as mentally unwell as I was back in 2017, but you're still going through the challenges of life. And for me as well, life's still challenging. Even though I love my life now, living my dreams, and I'm in a much better place, it's still challenging. Still got to face the daily anxieties and get up, but I have a different approach to that now. And that daily routine is what gets me through each day and helps me to help my clients enjoy life, accept days that are challenging, and keep pushing on, and try and, as a lot of the wise people say, and my nan said it, try and be as present as I can in each and every day and moment, which is an ongoing challenge. But the more gratitude you have, the more you're on your purpose, the more you want to do good for people and enjoy your life, appreciate what you have, the more present you are, the more present you become. So those things come. I'm going to do a bit more processing tonight, because obviously there's other things to share, perspective of the mental health bits that I might not cover today that will help people, because there's a lot of information to process, but that's the main bulk of it, what I want to share. So appreciate all of you coming on. Appreciate those of you that will watch this video later on. Check out the other videos. And let me give a last message to people that I want to give, something simple, practical that people can take away now. Okay, stop waiting to be perfect and stop pushing things ahead of time. Start right now, today. The simplest thing, the cleaning that you're putting off, the diet that you want to start, the book that you want to write, the conversation that you want to have with someone, or a certain thought process that you want to face, or an emotion or something. Start with the small things, and that will build you up to where you want to get to. All right. So I'll leave you with that, and speak to everyone soon. All right. Have a great evening.